on this current squad is like getting a carbon fiber hood on a 94 heat-up Honda Civic.
I mean,
Price is Right. Welcome to the Enemies to the Fire podcast. This week we talk about the MLS Playoffs, which have been my only solace. And then we talk about Americans Abroad, which I haven't been paying attention, but apparently they're playing well. And then James somehow has Fire news. I have no idea what's going on with the Fire.
Nope.
This is DPG. This is James. I am FC Neo Tokyo. Gentlemen, nothing really big has gone on in the world, so let's talk soccer. What's up?
Oh, man. Good times.
Yeah, good times.
Actually,
right?
a lot has happened, so let me catch you boys up. So, I'm going to share it with my screen with the good people of the YouTubes. But
Okay.
there was, let me share my screen with you lads as well. And we're doing it live as we do here.
Yep.
Definitely. I'm so curious to find out what the screen is, and now our names are going to be off as well.
Nope, I'll have it fixed.
No, you got that live editing, baby.
I'll have it fixed.
Live editing.
Live editing.
I just got to get the right.
We're doing it live, baby. So
Okay, that is shared, and then I have to do.
As James does that, I want to shout out to any and everybody in the Chicagoland area. Come see Coalesce with me over at Beat Kitchen. It's gonna be great. All right, what are we looking at, James? What are we looking at? Men in Blazers.
All right, so we are looking at the lone supporter that didn't have a local zip code when they purchased tickets for the Atalanta game. Scotland-based Stephen Fawn was able to watch his side take home 3 points as the lone spectator in the stadium.
Oh, so the Atalanta fans were banned, and what is it? Atalanta fans were banned. They're supposed to play in an empty stadium, but this guy doesn't live there, so he's good to go.
Is that really what happened?
So if you purchased with your tickets with the local zip code, right, they didn't let you. And so he was coming from, obviously, Scotland. So he was visiting, so he was able to go. And of course, there's stewards in the building. I wonder if there's anybody serving hot dogs or any food.
Oh, dude, that's
a good question. They probably didn't have any concessions or anything like that.
They probably didn't have any, and if they did, I'm sure they probably hooked them up. One guy.
he gets taken care of to the nines.
It's like they just wheel the popcorn thing to him, like not even no bag. So, but hold on. That's funny and all, but like my heart immediately says, wait a second. Why are there no fans allowed there? Because if it's for something real shitty, I don't feel good that somebody got to go see the shitty team. You know what I mean?
Well, he got to see his team beat the shitty team.
Well, no, but I mean, like who?
Yeah.
So how did this work? Where was it? Atlanta?
I mean, we're gonna have to do some live Googling on the spot. So if can you do it? Can you do it on your end?
You don't know nothing about.
It's Men in Blazers. They thought it was interesting.
Okay, no fair. What so?
And then let's move on to the next thing. Yeah, I got tabs, boys and girls. All right, so on to the next. So Thierry Henry talks about the troubles of Kylian Mbappe. And recently,
oh my God!
And he's wondering how he's going to mesh with Real Madrid and Jude Bellingham because they seem to be having struggles.
Oh my God! You mean
when Real Madrid isn't, like, they rotate so many players? Like, dude, I'm even surprised they can't even get something cohesive going.
Yeah, it's shocking. Like, give it another 3 weeks, and all of a sudden it'll be like, wow, is this the greatest front three in the history of soccer?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, can everybody just chill out for a second?
All right, so the next.
I mean, this is like the Real Madrid that this is Real Madrid. Like, honestly, like, I don't think they've had anything cohesive since like the early 2000s, late 90s probably.
Since Ronaldo left and Karim Benzema.
Well, Ronaldo and Benzema like left, but you got to think up until this season, their midfield was Modric, Kroos, and God, why am I blanking on the third guy? But they were there forever. You know what I mean? It was a good solid 10 years in the midfield there for them. So Real Madrid it's just life at a big club, dude. It's like it's so funny.
Rotated.
We watch MLS soccer, so you get news differently. But watching European soccer is like NFL news in America. Just complete overreaction to every week. Just everything is the greatest or the worst, or literally, if they don't do this, they're gonna die. It's insanity.
Speaking of fans overreacting, I'm wondering how fans of Liverpool are responding to Mohamed Salah leaving Anfield. And do you think he could come to the Chicago Fire?
Oh, no.
No. You don't? I mean,
Greg?
Yeah.
You know what happens is, as Major League Soccer, we think we're entitled to a lot of these guys because they vacation here and stuff. But those are either Southern American, like South American talent, or like Western European. Mo Salah, being an Egyptian man, has a different. He spent time in different places than some of the stars we think just are like a lock to come here, right? So he may be more intrigued to go other places than MLS, but are on MLS's level. And I don't know if that sounds dumb, but like Turkey's way closer to Egypt. He might want to be there. He might get a big fat payday to be there.
Oil country.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's how I feel. I would love Mo Salah here because we literally said that's a big need for us as a solid winger. And boy, I think he has tread on the tires.
Oh, he would be a league wrecker.
Do you think he's still? Yeah, I think he's still got years in him.
It'd be like unfair. It's almost like bringing Messi to the league. That would be like, that's like, you're in a fantasy league, you wouldn't let that trade happen.
You wouldn't let that trade happen.
Yeah, it just imbalances the league. It just imbalances the league too much. Oh, so you get the superstar on a planet, one of the greatest superstars on the planet, and Mo Salah would absolutely make mincemeat of some of these MLS defenses. Most.
So how much you think Uncle Joe's gonna pay this man to come to the Fire?
Oh my God! Mo Salah gets $10 million a year. Mo Salah gets $10 million a year, and is he out of contract? Is that why he's like, I'm gone?
Hold on. You're telling me that Liverpool's paying this man $10 million a year?
Probably a little more, right?
We'd have to
or
go
maybe
to that.
A little less. I don't know.
I'm just saying, because if you said $10 million, like, we were literally paying Shaqiri like 7.5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We were paying. So we could pay Shaq 7.5 or 7 million. We can definitely pay the 10 million for this man right here.
That's my number. I don't care. It's not my money. James, what do you think it'll take? What would it take to get Mo Salah here?
12.5, because I mean he could still probably play Champions League football somewhere, don't you think? I mean, he could
Prices right me with 12.5.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did.
You just threw out that random, like, no, we're talking about 10 million. James, like 12.5.
No.
501.
Sorry. No,
Mo Salah for 12.5.
Yeah, that's exactly that was what I was doing. But Mo Salah, I mean, he could still command a handsome salary at a Champions League level club in Europe. The question is, does he still want to hang around Europe? Does he want to go back to Egypt? Does he want to make a move over to Illinois, over to Chicago? Oh, it would be Chicago. Holy shit! Yeah. I mean,
but here's the thing, though. Like, getting Mo Salah on this current squad is like getting a carbon fiber hood on a '94 beat up Honda Civic.
Yes.
Like.
No, I think it's more like putting
people love their Honda
Civic
Civics.
Engine. I think that's putting like a sick McLaren engine in your Honda Civic.
On a hoopty. And like an old beat up Nissan Sentra from the 90s.
Speaking of old beat up Sentras from the 90s, I
love this new tab thing. All right, go ahead.
I have just two ex-professionals breaking down the UCL League phase table to music and glow sticks. And
I'm sorry, what?
What's Spanish for hat trick?
Look at these guys.
What is this? What am I watching?
What is this?
Why are they dancing?
They got glow sticks.
Wow. Is this what? You know what? I always had
Is
a
this
feeling
what
about Paramount
passes for
Plus.
punditry in Europe?
What did Kate Abdo go and dose these two?
Oh, I
What
didn't
the
even
hell's
show it.
going
I
on,
didn't even
dude?
show it to the people.
Oh man.
Kate Abdo just loving it.
Big Mix.
Micah Ricards is kind of really fun to watch.
They got something for
He-
you.
he's-
Look at these guys. They're having a blast, though. I mean, you know what? They are having fun, and they are damn good at what they do when they get into the pundit, when they get into the actual talking.
Yeah.
Oh my, they are that CBS crew. Like the people CBS have are the best people.
Yeah,
Because
I-
even now they have like Susanna Collins and Hercules Gomez and the Cooligan cat Alexi. I forget. Shit. Sorry, but they're hilarious. These cats on the European stuff is awesome. Like their MLS crew, or well, they're not MLS, but their US centric crew with Dempsey and stuff is usually really good. I love CBS's like long form interviews. They did one with like Jermaine Jones, Bruce Arena, Landon Donovan. Like they've had a lot of
about the
really
one
good
with,
guests. Jurgen Klinsmann was like
talk about-
recent.
Are you talking about the one they had with what's his face, Tony Miola?
Oh yeah, I love
Oh,
that one, man.
that one
Tony
was
Miola
good.
is good people. All right, what's the next tab?
It's just
Next
great
tab.
that it's just great that CBS and their company just gives them the latitude to be able to have this much fun, and you know they love their jobs. Obviously, that they are so passionate about soccer, and you know
Yeah.
it comes through here. So yeah,
You guys
but it's fun seeing them have a little good time, but it's still a little silly.
You
all
guys
right.
remember Nations League where Aguchi Onyewu beat Micah Richards in a arm wrestling competition?
I do not, but
I
Oh
know,
my
but
God!
I heard about the locker room situation with
Oh.
what's his face.
that sounds like bad news, and I got bad news to bring you. Shortly
Oh, God.
after returning from injury,
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
Neymar has been sidelined due to a torn hamstring. Al Hilal recently announced.
That's disappointing. I mean, Neymar when he's playing is fun. He's good. He's really good. Like I mean, I think he got weighed his career got weighed down with the questions of is he the best ever? Could he blah blah blah? It's just like let's just shut up and enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like I just it's sad. It's sad to see. I was sad to see him go to Saudi. And
You know,
like,
the thing that kind of bugs me a little bit with the situation, especially with now with a lot of professionals, like they're going to the, when they're like on top of their game, they just tend to go to like the Saudi league for whatever reason, or they drop down.
well, there's a
competition.
reason. There's a
You know,
lot of
I mean,
zeros.
there's a lot of zeros, but I mean, I remember back in the day, man, if you were good, you were staying up in the highest level possible. Not so much anymore.
Well,
Well,
I mean, that's the thing. Did we? That's the question. Do we like? Here we go. Big idea question for both of you. Do we want the Neymars of the world to go to Saudi/MLS earlier and like make these leagues a little bit more fun, or do we
Yep.
need to see Neymar go from Barca to PSG and then to Wolfsburg and then to Nice and then to maybe West Ham? Do we need to see that, or would we rather see the former?
Well, something needs to happen first. And it kind of already has been happening. It's the Champions League kind of just hasn't felt as important lately. It's still a great
It
tournament.
hasn't.
It's still fun. It's still an amazing tournament. It's still probably one of the best soccer tournaments in the world. Probably the best soccer tournament outside of FIFA World Cup. But there's something missing, and it's lost a little bit of its luster. I don't know if it's just because they lost Messi
I was gonna say
and
mystique.
Ronaldo.
It's lost its mystique.
I think you guys are burying the lead. I think Champions League is balls now, dude. The format sucks.
Well, and because of that opens the door for players to maybe think about leaving Europe a little earlier. Maybe they're like, you know what? All right, they're 31. They're like, all right, I don't need to run after that Champions League bullshit anymore. I'm going to go over to MLS. I'm going to wreck MLS, go play for my national team.
Let's get an MLS Cup and a CCC.
Yeah,
There you go.
and wreck MLS. Have a nice little summer in Miami, maybe, or in sunny California.
Miami.
During the vacation time you got, even if you're like in Kansas City, even if you're in Chicago, even if you're in the Midwest, what have you, find ways, and then you enjoy that, and you play out a huge little subset of your career, 3-4 years at top flight football, because man, these are still some top flight players that we're talking about trying to get, right? And that becomes possible under that type of scenario, and we are kind of entering that scenario.
Well,
if we are going to lure a player of such caliber as Mo Salah to Chicago Fire.
Oh, right. Well, I have a serious question about Neymar specifically. Let's say 4 to 6 weeks from now, Neymar comes back to work. He plays okay. Nothing to write home about. We don't hear about him, but he's playing and some goals go in and stuff and some assists, right? At this point in his career, with as fragile as he's been, do you take a fly? Like, if you get a chance at Neymar, do you take it?
And also, wouldn't you think he's probably going to prioritize? He's going to prioritize his Brazilian playing career probably more so if he's still involved with that. Like, if he's got a World Cup to go and win, you better believe we're going to see the Shaqiri experience all over again.
I was going to say that. Yeah, you're gonna see the Brazilian Shaqiri show up again.
Okay, so you guys don't want that smoke.
No. I mean, he'll be.
Yeah,
he'll be cool. He'll be cool for that 1 year because it's like he's Neymar. We'll be excited for a year, and then by next year we'll probably be pissed off that we signed him, kind of like Shaqiri.
Yeah, but 0% he's going to do that to Chicago because 0% he's coming to Chicago.
Oh no, he'll go play.
He'll go to New York before he comes to Chicago. He'll go to LA before he goes to New York. He's going to Miami, #1, but. Let's move to the next
New York,
tab.
Or do you mean Jersey?
No. Oh, Jersey.
Jersey.
Dude, Jersey. But that brings me to
Yankee Stadium.
And Yankee Stadium. Speaking of Yankee Stadium, and I'm actually have nothing to do with Yankee Stadium at all, but actually has to do with Neymar. Neymar's move is impossible due to MLS rules.
Well, yeah, no kidding. I mean, how are you gonna fit Neymar with Messi, with Suarez, with freaking Busquets? With who else am I missing? How are you gonna move Jordi Alba? Like, dude, at that point it's like border. Like, if Miami isn't doing something under the table, then someone's getting underpaid.
I don't know, James. I don't know how James feels, but I'll say this: if Neymar wants to go to Miami and play with all of these very famous friends, and your league has a rule that prohibits it.
Stupid rule.
Then your league is wrong. Change the rule.
Yeah, it's a stupid rule then.
Oh man,
it's an absolute stupid rule.
It's a salary cap rule, guys. That's all it is. It's salary cap.
Zlatan had to deal with it. He had to get viciously underpaid.
Yeah, they had to get rid of Gio dos Santos.
And they still had to viciously underpay and cook the books a little bit on Zlatan because they would got him money in other ways. I'm sure, sponsorships and all that. But so
they promised to protect him from Gucci Onyewu.
Yeah, but so long story short, Neymar to Miami isn't possible under the current MLS rules. But like you just said, change
rules
them.
Are made to be broken, baby.
Yeah. Let's freaking
go. Garber is gonna try to get Neymar here at whatever cost. He's gonna make up his own. He's gonna make up a rule.
You get a commissioner's pick at DP.
Yeah, there you go. MLS supplemental commissioner.
Yeah, they'll turn it into a draft. There'll be envelopes everywhere.
Miami gets the blue envelope. Everybody else gets the white one.
Oh
that's how they play it off.
Wait.
It's gonna be the Patrick Ewing draft all over again.
So wait, is that the percentage of games he played those seasons?
Oh shit, we're not supposed to be watching this.
We're not watching it. It's not actually happening.
It's not actually happening. Oh, you're right. We aren't. I'm not showing it. So yeah, that is what percentage of games played: 13% in 2024, 9% in 2023, 58% in 2022. This guy's got he plays less games than Chicharito.
Oh goodness gracious!
You know what? He's a liability at this point.
He is, but man, I still.
I've seen players that they'll play they won't play for 2 years and then out of nowhere they go uninjured for the next 3.
So, yeah, it's wild. I mean,
whoa! His last goal with Halal, October 3rd, 2023.
Damn.
You know what? He's up there in age too, though. He's 32. At that point,
he's 32. He's not up there in age.
Yeah, he's kind of up there in age, bro. If he's injury prone, at 32,
it ain't going away.
It's gonna get worse.
And the best ability is
No, your knees,
availability.
they get better. They get better.
Oh yeah.
No, they don't get younger.
No.
What? I'm saying that, and I told you guys I have to start training to be able to mosh at this concert.
There you go.
And speaking of training, our trainers are coming around the corner and saying we're going to take a quick break right here on Enemies of the Fire. We'll be right back with a lot more. We got Americans Abroad, we got some Chicago Fire, we got MLS Playoffs, and a little hijinks. Right. We'll see you on the flip side. Kick that like button. Punt it!
Welcome back, fellow enemies of the fire. We are here to do more of these tabs here. And when James said tabs, I was thinking acid, but apparently not. Apparently it's internet tabs. Gentlemen, what are we looking at? So
this is random. Sorry, not part of the show. What I really wanted to show you guys was Chicago Red Stars have plenty of reasons for optimism as they look to deliver the Orlando Pride's first home loss of the NWSL season in the first round of the playoffs.
Don't you mean the Chicago Stars?
No, they had, so
what?
So last week I said there's no way they'd release a rebrand while they're still in the season. Yeah, I also mentioned I didn't watch enough women's soccer. So yes, we are in the playoffs. Are we optimistic? We
got Mallory Swanson. I mean, that's a stud.
Sometimes that's all it takes, right?
Alyssa Naeher, another stud. I mean, they got two of the most important players where it matters most, right there. So that's pretty darn awesome. They got a great shot.
So do you have the bracket up for NWSL?
No, I don't. I didn't even know there was one.
So well, duh, it's the.
I got it up now.
All right, so they're going up against Orlando. Who do they got after that? If they win,
this doesn't look like a bracket. They lied to me.
No, that's not a bracket.
They lied to me.
I don't
watch enough women's soccer. I need to, but.
This is it right
here. I
have
not heard a lot of great things about this team. I mean, obviously, you hear about Mallory Swanson, but like as a team, I haven't heard a ton of optimism. So you're telling me that they're going to upset Orlando here, or there's thought that they could.
I just have a belief that any given Sunday that, playoffs are a different animal, and Chicago has the type of talent that has produced in national team games, has produced World Cup winning soccer. They cannot ever be counted out, especially being one of the top 8 or top 10 teams in NWSL. They're going to be able to match Orlando's tenacity. Can they match their tactics? Can they match their goal-scoring prowess? That's the question, because Chicago has been a little hit or miss this season. That's why they aren't coming in with so much, seemingly firepower behind them. But all the same, they got a shot. And if they take down the number 1 seed, hopefully you got a future bet on them winning the whole damn thing.
Good news is they're in the top 8. Bad news is there's 14 teams in the league. Now, you know what? To be fair, when is this game? It's on Prime, it says, right?
November 8th, 8 p.m. Prime.
Okay, I will be watching that because apparently all of the MLS stuff is on the 9th.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's cool.
So I will tune in and we will have some actual analysis for Chicago Red Stars next week.
The other team's Washington Bay. What the hell's Bay? San Francisco Bay?
No, it's Bay FC, which that was. Am I not mistaken?
Bay BAE FC?
Yeah, so it's the San Francisco team. Like the Bay Area.
Oh, Bay,
right?
BAY. GFC, what is that? The greater.
That's a Gotham Football Club.
Oh, Gotham Football. I don't
know. Yeah, it's Gotham.
Where Batman's at?
What was that?
Where Batman's at?
Yeah,
Got
yes.
Portlandia versus Portlandia.
Yeah.
Portland. Yeah.
And then you got the land of the NFL referees, Kansas City, and the home of NFL referees, home field. And then you got
NC Courage.
And then NC Courage.
See, I am woefully ignorant to these teams.
Absolutely. When I'm looking at these, I'm like, this means nothing to me. Except
Washington
except Chicago.
Spirit.
Who? Here's the thing. We'll probably, if we looked at a closer granular level of their players, we actually would probably recognize a few.
You're right. Like, yeah, if we started going through it, it'd be like, oh, she plays here. Oh, she plays there. But I don't watch enough, and I need to. But
and as such, we'll move on to the next tab.
Yeah, we will review that next week, though.
And this brings us to Bruce Arena. Bruce Arena spoke to Jeffrey Carlisle, who asked Arena what he did to be placed under MLS investigation before resigning with New England. Arena said, "It was just staff joking around with each other in private. I accept any criticism and I'm moving forward." In my head, he sounds like Kennedy.
Yeah, no, I thought that was Australian. I was about to say.
I got a little Australian, and then I'm like, oh, wait.
No, then I boxed
pull that
the
Kennedy from Massachusetts, bro.
Who was his understudy guy who he had the tiff with, Andy Williams? Is that who it was? Or do I have the wrong name?
I'm not entirely too sure.
You know, the thing is, enough of the black players that play under Bruce Arena have come out in favor of him that made me wonder, like, okay, well, it wasn't racial. What else could he have said? Did he just really hurt the man's feelings hard? Like, did he rip out your eyes and skull? You know what?
You ever seen Bruce Arena on the sideline for, like, back in the day in the USMNT national team when, the ref will call a bad call and he'll do the whole, he'll turn around, classic Bruce Arena. But I mean, it's possible he hurt the man's feelings. He probably said, "Hey, man,
well, like,
just forget he's lousy or something like that." I don't know.
You hate to say it, but like when it very first happened, and you have very old white guy yelling at a black man.
Yeah, I get what you're going with this.
Your mind starts to fill.
But you know what? Look at that first comment. Someone left.
What does it say?
Hopefully he can somehow figure this out with Fisher's cheapness.
Well, okay, to the real issue.
So he's being signed by the San Jose Earthquakes to be their head coach. He's not being their technical director or GM, which is a different power scale system that he was used to, because coming from New England, he was both the technical director and the head coach. Here he's coming in just as a head coach. Maybe he's a little older. He wants to be a little, he doesn't want to do so much of the recruiting and be responsible for the finding as much. Greg still got that fire, so maybe I'm a little less worried about Greg, but in comparison. But Bruce, he's like, I want to settle down.
Maybe
his first hire is Josie Altidore.
Maybe this Fisher guy couldn't afford to pay him, TD money too, so he just settled on the coach.
Well,
on a coaching role.
I mean, here, Bruce Arena has hung on where others have failed because he has taken the shoestring budgets and squeezed all the talent out of them. That you gonna tell me going into that 73-point season, anybody had any faith in the New England Revolution other than probably a couple guys who carry around fake muskets and dress up? Like,
nope.
No one thought that team was going to be anything.
No.
So the reason he has stayed in the league is he's realized how to use his resources the best. And
let me say this.
I just gotta say.
Okay, go.
You're telling me that Bruce Arena is gonna take wooden spoon winning San Jose with all its cheapness and his lackluster spending, and you're telling me that somehow, some way, he's going to go beat LAFC and the LA Galaxies of the world and San Diego?
I mean, he'll beat San Diego.
I think, Toke, DPG, I don't think that even Bruce's expectations are that high, because this is what he said. I think it's an interesting job. It's certainly going to be challenging.
Of course it is.
They're very impressive, and they're committed to making this club better. I think there's
Impressive for
potential
being
there.
last.
I think there's potential there to develop the club into a team that can certainly be better than they've demonstrated over the last couple of years.
This is hysterical because he already has a cartoonish New York accent. So you giving him a different one is hysterical.
He's giving him like a JFK Massachusetts accent. Like
he already sounds cartoonishly New York. Or New Jersey. You know what I mean? Like
it's somewhere in that region.
I think he's from Jersey.
Yeah, I put him a little too far north. Yeah.
But honestly, like, what do you guys think? I think this
is a great hire for San Jose.
Yes,
it is a great hire.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they're going to be competitive though.
They'll be more competitive than probably under any other hire. I mean, although they brought in Almeida before, and they didn't make him competitive. He didn't make them competitive. They didn't put the tools with him to succeed. Are they really going to put the tools around Bruce to succeed, or is Bruce already find it an interesting job with the challenges, aka lack of money, that is associated with it? And then maybe he's thinking, maybe I could moneyball this team.
I truly think Bruce is going to be here 2 or 3 years. He's going to limp him into the playoffs in 9th, 8th, 7th.
Oh, if he gets in the playoffs, wouldn't that be a big win?
That's a win for San Jose.
Saying. He'll be around 8th, 9th all 3 years, and then somebody else will come in theory, and progress the program along.
I don't know. I don't know they're going to progress it.
You really think he's going to outcoach Peter Vermees for that wooden spoon?
You know, there was a time in the Goonies, man. There was a time San Jose was San Jose.
Yeah, but that's MLS. Yeah. That was the times before LAFC. That was the times before big money.
Even LA Galaxy is back.
Yeah, like, dude, like what you're saying, you're basically saying, let's take this Fire team and let's go. They're going to go beat up on a Messi Miami team. That's kind of like equivalent to a San Jose team trying to beat up on an LAFC team.
They don't need to beat up on LAFC. They just need to be 9th, 8th for a couple of years and then grow.
Based on this season alone, you got Real Salt Lake that's resurging. You have Colorado that's resurging.
Well, hold on. I don't want to bury the lead here, but we're going to backtrack real quick. Salt Lake is contingent on 2 dudes who are very probably excited with their Hispanic selves to not be in Utah and get a big payday. So they're both gone. And then Colorado was not okay. The kids were not okay. And we'll get there when we talk the playoffs.
I just want to highlight this tweet before we move on to the next one. But doubt, where it says, I think it's an interesting job. It's certainly going to be challenging. And he added that he was impressed by the proposed level of commitment from owner John Fisher, as well as the rest of the club's front office staff. Yeah, maybe the rest of the club's front office staff, but might question John Fisher's financial commitment. But we'll see.
Yeah, they're gonna get him a Coke machine that he doesn't have to pay for.
Oh, geez.
Like Moneyball. You don't have to pay for Pepsi.
All right. I got one last tab for you before we close down this segment and get to Toke's favorite. But we've touched on this before.
Look at that glove, man.
But we've talked about it a little bit before. But how MLS could fall to spring schedule could actually work in cold markets. There was a range of reactions to the Athletics report last week that MLS is considering switching to its calendar to a fall to spring schedule as soon as the conclusion of the 2026 World Cup. Perhaps unsurprisingly, though, the most negative came from the league's northernmost markets, who, understandably, aren't entirely sure how MLS could play a schedule similar to Europe's top leagues and not sacrifice the fan experience because of those harsh weather conditions. The cold winters of New England and Chicago and the north,
Toronto, and Minnesota.
Oh, geez. Vancouver. Part of the reason is probably that the fall to spring leagues MLS fans are most familiar with are probably the English Premier League and Spain's La Liga, which both take minimal pauses in the winter months because of those national climates. But an MLS version would probably look considerably different from the Premiership or La Liga, obviously. And there are many ways that the league could figure this out. So how about something like a split season? The Athletics reporting suggested a potentially winter break of more than a month, beginning in the middle of December when the MLS Cup final is typically played, and concluding at the end of January when training camps are typically beginning. This would be similar to how German Bundesliga manages their fall to spring campaign. But
this is stupid. There are years it snows from October to April in Chicago.
It's true. But elsewhere in Europe, there are leagues that take even more severe winter respites, which make the schedule look more like 2 split seasons, even if competition begins in late summer and ends in late spring. And there aren't any logistical reasons MLS couldn't follow a similar itinerary. Take, for example, the schedule of 2023-2024 Danish League Superliga champions FC Midtjylland. They began their league campaign 3 weekends earlier than the Premier League, July 21st, and ended it 1 weekend later, May 26th. Despite only playing 32 league games against the EPL's 38-match schedule. The break between matches in the middle of the season was actually longer than the break between seasons, with the former running more than 2 months and the latter a bit less than 2 months.
That's stupid.
That seems a little stupid. To avoid
I do love their free healthcare, but I don't like that.
To avoid too many cold weather matches, MLS could play a similar schedule and still break for all summer international tournaments and other international breaks throughout the year. It would just mean that league matches in late July and early August, which probably don't envision when they hear fall to spring.
Dog, there is so much to compete with in the winter months in American sport. Like, the fact that we get to go up against baseball is phenomenal. We haven't seized on it. This is, I don't think it's going to work, man. I think it's like we all love it because we want transfers to work out.
All right,
but it doesn't matter because the stadiums will be half full and teams will contract.
Here's the other problem is we'll get into this, but it seems like they're breaking down they want to make this more a statistical issue. Like, oh, it only is this cold typically. But here's the thing. The typical day is not necessarily what it is all the time, especially in polar vortex Chicago sometimes, right? So most MLS markets are more hospitable to playing through some of the winter than Denmark, right? Of MLS 30 clubs next season, only 16 actually play in environments where the average low temperatures are freezing or below in January. That includes Nashville and DC.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot of teams. That's a whole league.
That's half the league.
Whole German. That's a Bundesliga too.
Half the league plus one. That number decreases, though, as you go to February and December. As you go to February and December, and further as you extend out to March and November. In other words, there's enough geographic diversity that MLS could create a schedule that features only a 6-week break, but lets colder cities have a more extended gap between home matches during the coldest months. That sounds like more away matches. So let's imagine MLS swaps to a fall to spring schedule in 2026, takes a 6-week break. The last matches before the break might be played on the weekend of December 26th, Christmas, day after Christmas, with the league returning to play on the weekend of February 13th. But let's add to that schedule, a schedule that avoids scheduling in any of the 10 coldest markets at home in those final 3 weekends before the break or the final 3 weekends after. None of the 10 markets would play a home match during those 3 weeks, December 5th and March 5th, concentrating their home matches towards the beginning and the ends of the season in warmer temperatures. That is one potential way to do it.
I hate it. The home field advantage is so important in a country as large as America that, this is so stupid. You front load a team with home matches and front load another team with away matches, and their season is done before it started. It's like the stupid a circus trip the Bulls always make.
Okay, so they go further that changing the time of the games during winter games would be beneficial too. Playing nearly the 7:30 p.m. usually make it way too cold, and playing at earlier times usually yield a higher temperature in these colder weather areas. So say noon games, 2 p.m. games.
I like that.
And then the report from The Athletic also indicated that the league is considering playing the League's Cup in warm weather markets during the winter. The League's Cup eats up 5 weekends from the first match to the final. So that would be an easy way to keep teams active for part of the winter without requiring fans to actually brave frigid temperatures. This idea has been suggested before, and it feels like it will be by far the easiest way to keep the League's Cup alive if MLS flips to its schedule to a more European model.
Honestly, getting rid of Leagues Cup is almost as high on my list of priorities as seizing the means of manufacturing. Like, I want nothing more than League Cup to just die a death that goes away forever. I don't know. Am I alone on that?
I think it's a waste. League Cup,
When they
whatever it
present it like
is.
this kind of makes sense. Like this actually, it would present a usefulness to keep all the teams active when it is during this. There's utility here to this Winter Leagues Cup idea, actually, if they were doing it.
I don't know. Personally, I'll say this. As a man who isn't usually afraid of change, I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate it. I don't think it's going to work well in this country. And selfishly, I'm not super psyched about it either. I like the setup we got now for my game viewing pleasure.
Well, and you said going against the other sports could be problematic.
Well, what do you actually think? What do you want?
I like this Winter League Cup idea. I like the idea of somehow getting more in line with the European schedule so you can get that transfer window. If you can't fix the transfer window in the current season setup that you have now, if there's no way for you to change it, substantially fix it, but still keep it from significantly infecting the playoffs. Because think about this. Like if the transfer window is open towards the last third half of the season, that's almost like as if the trade window in the NFL was open in the last third half of the season. But you want most of the teams to have made up their minds after the first 10 or 11 weeks, basically, to go all in at that point, because you're going to get less tanking. Not that there's advantages to necessarily tanking in MLS like there is in football.
There is no advantage.
Yeah.
There's none.
But maybe there's a financial advantage. Tax write-off.
I don't know. DPG, what do you think?
I mean, let's be honest. Like the winter market, for European clubs in the European season, I mean, yes, you might be able to find some deals because there's some teams that might just want to get rid of players just because they don't fit the current scheme. But it sucks when you have to hear GM say, well, we got to wait for the summer transfer window because we haven't got all our pieces yet.
Yeah, well, they're bad at their jobs. You've
well,
heard
they're also limited because we've heard in the past that these players still have other options, and they're like, I'm not yet ready yet to commit to that because maybe got an offer maybe got a $2 million extra dollar offer coming in from Al Hilal or Feyenoord or somewhere or
well,
one of the Italian league teams.
You're gonna have to compete no matter what.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
Either you buy the player or you're gonna have to wait for him to get to free agency, and then once his contract's up, he's up. Anybody could throw money at him, and he'll go.
You guys were talking about it before about taking off the stupid rules of the league. Well, guess what? The schedule is a stupid rule that's already inherently baked into the league, just like the DP rule. The MLS, if it wants to get to the times, it has to make two significant changes. It's got to fix the schedule and it's got to remove the DPs. Take the governor, move your schedule into more in line with the rest of the world. Open up your transfer market, make more money. And drive more interest, because guess what? All the leagues, when all of a sudden they're seeing that their guys ending up in MLS, they get interested in that MLS team. It happens all the time.
Yep.
And that'll happen more and more often when you get more in line with.
I'm just happy they got rid of that whole allocation order crap that they had a couple of years ago.
Oh God, I didn't know they did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, for U.S. men's national team.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do. I'll say this, man. The DP rule is a self-inflicted wound. I think the schedule is literally just the reality of playing. Like, if you want, like, the only way for Major League Soccer to function not on the schedule is to be in another country.
Disagree. Because they're thinking it's possible. They think it's possible, and the way that they lay it out, it is possible. It's just not comfortable.
Yeah,
let me ask you this:
you can't, like, when something isn't the most popular thing, like when football it being the most popular thing on this planet in this country, I should say, people will do anything to get there. Mm-hmm. There's not enough ride or die for the Chicago Fire to survive that much discomfort. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like,
the harsh winter months.
You gotta make it easy to be loved, and that's not gonna make it easy to be loved.
Speaking of being easy to love, I hope you guys give that like button a little love, and we're going to be right back. We're going to talk a little bit about Americans Abroad, a little bit about MLS playoffs, and maybe a touch about Chicago Fire rumor that I heard. And we'll be catching you guys on the flip side. Be right back on Enemies of the Fire.
Welcome back, fellow enemies of the fire. We are here with one of our funnest things to do, which is talk about and complain about U.S. men's national team players. But the big plot twist this week is I think a lot of them played pretty well. So,
Ooh la la.
yeah, yesterday they played some Champions League games.
Yep.
And apparently Malik Tilman turned into Ronaldinho yesterday, man, with a goal and 2 assists. PSV looking good, making our guys look good all the time, or vice versa, I should say. I don't know, man. Is this one of these things that's just like a blip on the radar for him, or is this like his coming out party?
We gotta wait and see, man. It's it's a small sample size. You gotta give it time. If he does this on a regular basis, and congratulations, this is his coming out party.
This isn't Pulisc yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the kid. He has shown flashes before, and he's showing flashes now. I hope he locks it down, gets it.
I will
out.
say this though. I know we haven't gotten to him yet, but we'll continue. We'll continue with Malik Tilman stuff.
Well, Pepe, did Pepe score one of those goals? I mean,
it didn't say. It said Johan Bakayoko drives it home.
I mean, you got Tilman, and Pepe playing over
Pepe
there.
played the final 5 minutes off the bench while Richard Ledesma was an unused substitute.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Pulisc keeps producing. Look at it! Just another corner kick sets up Malik Thiaw's first goal with Milan to stun the Bernabeu.
That feels good. It feels good to see a world-class winger play and help raise his team to a victory at Real Madrid's home.
You know what? Real Madrid got called out on that. Real Madrid, I heard a lot of noise. People were saying, I forgot who. Someone said that Real Madrid players were just lazy. I forgot who. I gotta look it up again, but
I mean,
they were like, yeah, they're lazy.
Play every game. That's why they win La Liga. They play every game well. You can't take any off.
Who's not lazy, but who's also not rusty, but is actually trusty? It's Austin Trusty. And Cameron Carter-Vickers starting in Celtic's victory over RB Leipzig.
I don't know. Do you guys like this? I tend to not like when we have center back partners playing together.
Why the heck not?
Just because I feel like when you put together a national team, you need 4 completely different players. You need 2 left center back players who play completely different from each other, and 2 right center back.
Why would you not? But these are 2. This is a left and a right center back who actually have chemistry together, and which is instant chemistry where they can look at each other. And unlike other players who might have to have that extra second where they have to say something, they can look at each other, point, and they know. It's like
I feel like it's easier for an offensive player, say like a Pulisc and a Yunus Musa, to go somewhere like to the U.S. and play a completely different system. I feel like they would be more comfortable doing that than like for them to play now. For either of them to play now, Pochettino needs to play exactly how Celtic play.
Just keep in mind though, this is like a Celtic team that, I mean, with all due respect, the Scottish league is no like Serie A or La Liga.
RB Leipzig though, this is another tournament.
I know, but I always feel like it's kind of like a mirage sometimes, because I've seen Celtic, they could beat up on Dundee United 4-0, and then they could face off against Bayern Munich.
Is that any different than some of this MLS stuff? Some of these MLS teams? At least they have promotion relegation. At least they have that pressure.
Honestly,
and they also have pressure. Also, they have pressure to produce a trophy. They still got to be the best. Every team that's going to play them is bringing their best. They're basically the Bulls in 93 to 90, 91 to 98. No, and like everybody's always bringing their A game. They're the Blackhawks during their run. Everybody's always bringing their A game.
I get that, but like, you put this team against AC Milan. You put this team against Bayern Munich. You put this team against Dortmund. You put this team against Ajax. You put this team against the big boys.
Ajax, they could probably deal with.
But what I'm saying is that they hit a brick wall. It's like
they They do,
That's
but
it.
I
They get
kind
caught
of
with
feel
the pants down.
I feel James's point. I kind of like it better than them being at like lower tier
But
team somewhere
It's
else. I
not
do
the
like the
same.
pressure
It's
of
not
having
the
to
same
be.
development, though. It's not the same
It's
development that like Pulisc is getting.
Winning
like,
isn't development. Playing winning soccer isn't development.
no.
DPG, come on.
Well, I mean, it's
Playing in
Cameron-
Scotland is not the same as playing in
Right.
Serie A.
It's
Well, hold
the
on.
level of talent. I understand. Yeah.
Development and form are different. I think Christian Pulisic is a world-class player, so his form is improving. Him as a player may not necessarily be improving because that's the level I thought he was at.
I mean,
Now, Trusty is different. Trusty I expect to improve, but Cameron Carter-Vickers is who Cameron Carter-Vickers is, which is good enough to be a part of the conversation and on the team, which means for him, I don't need him to try and break in at Real Madrid. I need him to find his Celtic home where he
so
plays.
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Where is the biggest hole on the back line for the U.S. men's national team?
Oh, I mean the center with it's the right until Dest is healthy, but the center.
Guys, the thing about Trusty, though, think about this. At least for Trusty, that dude was already good in MLS. He's left. He's inevitably gotten better. Undoubtedly gotten better.
Undoubtedly.
And now imagine he comes back. He's even better than he already was when he was already
I would actually like to see him
top-level CB in MLS that you would definitely have one on your team.
I would like to see him go to the Bundesliga. I would like to see him go to, maybe even La Liga. Like, I would like to see him go to a much more competitive league. That it's, every Sunday, every match day feels like a championship game almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so
more like what Juventus has with Weston McKinnie and Tim Weah.
And that AC Milan has with Christian Pulisic and yeah.
Where
every game.
So Weston McKinnie and Tim Weah did play. They both featured off the bench from Serie A Juventus as they tied Lille 1-1 in France.
Yo, did you see that they sent home? So they signed a guy on loan to replace Weston McKinnie, and they canceled the loan.
Wow.
They sent him back. It was I think he's at Arsenal or Liverpool. I always confuse those two because they're red.
It says that both McKennie and Weah will be fighting to start after not getting the nod on Tuesday.
Will they or will? I mean, I think McKinney's a lock to be in the. If he's not starting in the Champions League game, he's a lock on the weekend.
And if he's not a lock on the weekend, then he might be a lock on Greg Berhalter's wish list.
Honestly, man, it's like in situations like that, you kind of wonder, like, one of those guys got to give. Like, they have to go to a different setup, because they're basically competing with each other for playing time. When in reality, we want both those guys to play at the same time and get the full 90 minutes or whatever.
I mean, we need more minutes out of these guys, but it's good to see. But to be fair, like other countries don't stress that hard because they realize when their guys are at big teams, sometimes they play nonstop for 5 straight games and then they bounce in and out for a couple and then they're solid for a while. Like that happens. Rotation and strategery against the other team happens, right? Like
unless you're really good, then you're kind of stuck on the line.
Unless you're world class.
Unless you're world class. And I'm going to strategically move us on to the next tab here. Americans Abroad, and this was the couple days before, but Toke wanted to hit on this.
Games.
We had Paxton Aronson running amok, which is good to hear.
Oh, he scored, yeah.
Haji Wright, Brendan Aronson also doing well.
Haji Wright scored.
Josh Sargent is injured. Caleb Wiley made his return.
Josh Sargent is not playing till 2025.
They said he's gonna miss the international break, the whole shebang. So we gonna see some shit.
Yeah, Mark. And there was some joke about him not scoring a goal since the last Trump presidency.
Yeah, what did they say? He hasn't scored a goal. So he didn't score a goal the entire Biden administration.
Yeah, something like that.
Mark
McKenzie and Toulouse picked up 3 points. Pulisic and Tim Weah were the winners in Serie A. Cameron Carter-Vickers scored in Celtic's 6-0 League Cup semifinal romp over Aberdeen.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I was talking about, man. you're beating up on Aberdeen 6-0, but then next week you're facing Bayern Munich and you hit a brick wall.
Yo, hearts till I die, baby. It's their year.
Dundee United, man. Dundee United.
Cameron Carter Vickers, like I said, Frankie and Maya Zendejas both assisted for Liga MX. Rokas Pukskas featured for Hajduk Split. Hajduk Split.
Excellent.
Split.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, Jesus. Hajduk Split. George Bello continued to start at left back for Lask. Justin Shea featured off the bench for Brøndby. And then we moved to EPL where Anthony Robertson started, registered an assist, and played the full 90 for Fulham's 2-1 win over Brentford.
The game-winning assist, right?
Ooh.
If I'm not mistaken.
You
Anthony Robinson, world class as well.
Good additional context provided by Toe.
Side.
Tyler Adams came off the bench and played 24 minutes for Bournemouth in their 2-1 win over Manchester City. Wow.
So
good for Tyler, too.
Yeah, apparently he played well. Does Tyler Adams start
under
the next Pochettino window?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to have to figure in if he's doing this type of stuff, even if he's only
he got to see more minutes, though.
Yeah, he's got to get healthier.
He will. He just got back.
You got to give him time to get healthy. You don't want to stress that back too much. Matt Turner dressed but did not play for Crystal Palace.
No surprise.
Chris Richards is out also for Crystal Palace. Haji Wright started, got a goal and an assist for Coventry City's win, 3-0 over Middlesbrough. Aiden Morris. Pardon?
No, I was gonna say this man is coming. He's taking his scoring from Turkey to the championship, man.
Haji Wright's got some skills, man.
Let's go, Haji. Aiden Morris started and played all 90 for Middlesbrough. Luca Koliesho.
They love him, by the way.
Luca Koliesho started and played 90 in Burnley's 1-0 loss to Millwall on Sunday. Brendan Aronson started, scored 1 goal, and played 66 minutes at Leeds United 3-0 win over Plymouth Argyle on Saturday.
Brendan Aronson scoring goals, damn.
Duane Holmes came off the bench, played 23 minutes for Preston North End's 3-1 loss to Bristol City. Josh Sargent did not dress.
Hold on. Before you go any further,
I gotta give you guys time to answer. Yeah.
I like to think about Duane Holmes like being like that Mike Holmes guy, the home improvement guy. I would love to see it. I would just love to see it. It's Duane Holmes here.
And I'm with Holmes on Holmes. That's great. Josh Sargent, as we already repeated, did not dress. He's got a groin injury. You mentioned that. Ethan Horvath.
Surgery now.
And Ethan Horvath dressed, did not play for Cardiff. Yikes.
It's a good paycheck if you can get it.
Daryl Dike is out for West Brom, and Lyndon Gooch is out for Stoke City.
Daryl Dike.
Daryl Dike. Oh, it's not Daryl Dike. My apologies. My apologies, everybody. FA Cup, Gaga Slonina, and Donovan Pines dressed, but did not play in Barnsley's 3-1 win over Port Vale.
I want the highlights, baby.
Emily Fox started and got assists. Katarina Mikar. Oh, this is WSL stuff, which, okay. Joe Scally played 90 minutes for Borussia Mönchengladbach. 4-1 win over Werder Bremen.
Mönchengladbach.
Yeah, you know.
The famously the home of Michael Bradley for a couple of years.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't
remember. Oh my God! Do you remember a Michael Bradley with hair scored 2 goals against a win against Bayern Munich?
Wow.
Back on. Oh my God! You guys remember that?
Somebody's got to give a fuck about that. But Jordan P. Fox started and played 60 minutes in Union Berlin's 3-0 loss to Bayern Munich.
No surprise.
Timmy Chandler came off the bench and played 17 minutes in Eintracht Frankfurt's 7-2 win over Bochum.
Timothy Chandler still alive. Way to go.
Dude, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Cole Campbell came off the bench and played 1 minute in Borussia Dortmund's 2-1 win over RB Leipzig on Saturday. Leipzig on a bit of a loss tear there.
Good.
Leonard Maloney did not dress for FC Heidenheim. Kevin Paredes did not dress for Wolfsburg. And Gio Reyna is out for Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, did you see the kid got his debut for the BVB? They were like a historic day for Americans in Champions League, and they got to Dortmund, and it wasn't Gio Reyna, it was this other kid.
Oh, jeez. Johan Gomez started and played in Bundesliga 2, so did Julian Green and John Brooks. But John Brooks is actually out. He did not start at all.
Julian Green.
Oh, wow.
Julian Green.
Dan, this is like Bruce Arena's old U.S. men's national team.
And Toke said you want to hear the best of the best only, so we'll skip Terrence Boyd in third Liga.
Oh man, that's Bruce Arena.
But he did score
Shout
a
out
goal.
to Terrence Boyd, man. Do what you love. You never work a day in your life.
He did score for Waldhof Mannheim in their 1-1 draw against Unterhaching. La Liga, Johnny Cardoso started, played all 90 for Real Betis, but Luca De La Torre is out.
It happens.
Christian Pulisc played and dominated 89 minutes in AC Milan's 1-0 win over Monza. Musa came off the bench and did play a minute.
No, good for him.
Gianluca Busio came off the bench, played 45. Tim Weah played and started 87 for Juventus. And Weston McKinnie played and came off the bench for Juventus back then too. And we'll move on to Mark McKenzie playing well for Toulouse in their 1-0 win. Kobe Henry didn't dress for Stade Reims. Emmanuel Sabi came off the bench.
I don't know these cats. Skip the cats.
Okay, Caleb Wiley came off the bench for Strasbourg. Tanner Tessman dressed but did not play for Lyon. And Balogun
he's coming
is
back
out.
from injury, isn't he?
Maybe he is. And that is...
Wait, or is it Tessman that they refuse to play? Or no, it's Luca De La Torre that they just refuse to play.
Well,
so I don't know. What do you guys think? I've been impressed by this 2024-25 season performance by Americans abroad currently. Like, I was worried about Yunus Musa and I was worried about McKennie.
Yeah, there's guys you worry about, but I think the rest, there's enough of the crop that's spread out. You got seeds spread out all over.
Yeah,
you do.
So that's good.
And talking about spreading your seed.
And talking about spreading your seed, we're going to move into the MLS playoffs.
Okay. This I don't know about you guys, but I was massively feverish this weekend. I caught the MLS playoff fever. It was my security blanket. I watched every one of these goddamn games. I was invested, which means the number one story coming out of the Major League Soccer weekend. And I did do a wellness check on Connor. He seems to be doing better. Columbus Crew are done. They are bounced out of the playoffs by hashtag F those kids. Dude, I'm shocked. They were the better team both games. That's the best part. They were the better team both games and lost in the shootout. It's phenomenal. I don't know. Do you guys like reveling in your rivals' demise?
I enjoy to hear this, and this, like I said earlier in a couple segments ago, gives me hope for Chicago Stars taking on Orlando in the NWSL playoffs.
Fair. No, you got a point there. I don't know, man. I did New York, Jersey. The Red Bulls are not a bad team, but boy, I really thought we were going to get that beautiful Columbus Miami matchup.
You know what's funny is that the Red Bulls got it done faster than Miami.
Yeah, whoa, that's the next story. Miami, like, it looked like it was cruising, 1-1 to penalty kicks. You really figure, the experience of Miami would shine through. And Atlanta got a late goal. The building erupted. Everybody's freaking out. And now I think I'm more nervous than the guys probably are, but I'm nervous that if Miami gets bounced from these playoffs, there's nothing left to care about. There's nothing interesting going on.
I mean, I don't know. Think about it this way, though. You got half that team has Champions League final experience.
Oh yeah, no
they
pressure.
got no pressure. That they got ice in their in their veins. They don't care. Now the other half, the liability side, that's a different story. So, I mean, yes, Atlanta could win, but I don't know. He's got to win.
I think Atlanta blew its load in that second game. Miami's going to come ready to play.
Well, it's in Miami. Do they even have a home field advantage, really?
Yes.
Does that place rock?
Anytime David Beckham attends your match, you got home field advantage.
I like the optimism. All right, yeah. So a dastardly horrible 0-0 game with Orlando and Charlotte. Charlotte has won a game without scoring a goal in either of them. That's pretty funny.
That's a pretty bad three-letter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm done making that joke. We've beaten that one.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but Never
You
mind.
almost fell right into it.
I almost fell right back into my
Cincinnati
old ways.
Cincinnati also going to 3 games here with NYC too. That's a little surprising. I thought, but NYC's got a good team. But the amount of look at that goal scoring, that actually kind of makes you want to favor NYC going into this next game.
I don't know. They were at home. I still.
Yankee Stadium. Fuck that.
I still think. Well, yeah. If it wasn't Shea, it might have even been Shea.
Maybe it was
but,
that. Yeah.
To be fair, I watched all these games, but I didn't have the sound on any of them. So,
but good for them in New York.
Thing.
And we'll move on to the other. Oh, unless
well, I was gonna say I got Cincinnati and Orlando in my going through. You guys got anything different?
Miami. I'm gonna go Charlotte. Miami, Charlotte, Cincinnati.
Okay, I will say I'm now pro Red Bulls making it to the Miami game.
Oh, hell
Atlanta, Orlando, NYFC.
Oh, you think Atlanta's gonna pull it out?
Oh wow, you got what? 2. You got 2.
You know upsets. You know what? I think about it this way: if the Columbus Crew could go down, anybody could go down.
You're not wrong, but God, would that suck? The 2 most interesting teams in the league gone.
LAFC's also got an argument. LAFC's got an argument for an interesting team too. But yeah, definitely, there's definitely some validity to your argument.
Well,
there.
You talk about LAFC. Let's cruise over here. Let's go to the other LA. Now the West a little bit more put together than the East here.
Look at Vancouver storming into the playoffs, knocks off Portland to break in, and a really good game at home against LAFC in the second match to force a game 3. LAFC, they definitely have their hands full with Vancouver.
Yep.
Vancouver obviously just can pop off at a moment's notice. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm. And think about this: the last 3 games they've scored goals. Last 2 games, LAFC has only scored goals in one of those games. So they have a trend of scoring.
I don't know, man. How do you guys feel? Who you got? I still think LAFC pulls this out.
You got to give it to the Champions League winners that are inherent on LAFC.
Yeah, I think LAFC is going to take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Seattle. Talking about taking care of business. Seattle won so hard that Hector Herrera left Houston.
Oh, we'll talk about that. I'll bring that up later.
Yeah, Seattle got through without winning a game, so there you go.
In regulation. Without winning a game in regulation, but good for them. I mean, that's a good defensive team, but the offense is in question.
That's not the only team that did that.
Now, you brought up RSL earlier today.
Rocked me, Amadeus.
They're done.
Their fans get to now just focus on the hockey team.
Yeah, I mean, I like Minnesota. I always like Minnesota. They always put together an entertaining squad.
Not a very goal-scoring squad, but definitely a good defensive unit.
But look who they're facing. That's very goal-scoring squad.
Oh no, they're done for.
Oh, they're cooked.
I still have an LA West Coast final.
LA's good at defense too. Like they're not just good at offense. They got a real legitimate chance to actually go all the way.
LA is so hungry to win that Ricky Pugh is complaining that they got to wait 22 days for the next playoff game.
Oh, yep. which is stupid.
It's
which
wild.
Is absolutely insane. I
don't know, they already got their opponent. And
this is why I'm saying that, anything can happen because you have that whole time between games. You're basically out of sync. Yeah,
I mean, they scored 9 goals in 2 games, and now you're like, nah, go sit on ice.
Colorado
go take a vacation.
Nothing. Jesus, Colorado got embarrassed.
Colorado got embarrassed. Remember when we started looking longingly at Chris Armas and Reggie Cannon?
I'm just gonna say this: Colorado is a young team that is under a first-year coach, and this is their first playoff appearance in a very long time. And you know what? They got it this far. If they could build on it and maybe get past the next round next year, then we got something.
Dax McCarty still going with Atlanta.
I would like to see Colorado good. I still think back fondly on the worst MLS Cup in history, where it was Colorado. It was in Toronto in sub-0 degree weather.
Mm-hmm.
It was Colorado versus was it San Jose? The Goonies.
They probably love that.
Gooners. Oh my
They
God,
won.
it was-
What they won? They won the MLS Cup.
Yeah, Matt Kanji scored a goal and broke his leg, like snapped his leg in half on the same play. Couldn't even celebrate winning MLS Cup with a goal late. Just ruined it, ended his career. It was so bad.
Speaking
Which
of
isn't funny.
Speaking of
Anyway, go
ending
ahead.
speaking of ending your career, that brings me to the Chicago Fire. And Hector Herrera, the idea that he might join the midfield and become a partnership with Kellyn Acosta. That's actually been bandied about by Twitter user here, Logan, on hashtag CF97. What do you guys think about Hector Herrera partnership with Kellyn Acosta in that midfielder
Nah.
at 34?
Yeah, no,
Pass,
thank you. I
pass.
exactly not
Hard
what I'm looking
pass.
for. It feels like, and like, dude, oh man,
This is like a mid 2010s move.
well, like this is like if Gaston Jimenez performed to his potential, it'd be Hector Herrera at 34.
Who would you rather
You know
have,
what I mean?
Gaston
Like-
Jimenez or Hector Herrera right now?
Is who?
What position?
Gaston Jimenez or Hector Herrera? You know, at that point, you almost take Gaston. He's a little bit younger.
What position?
No,
Matt
cheaper.
plays?
He's cheaper because
you've
he's already
done-
here.
Dude, that's like
Well-
drinking tequila the night after having a massive
Yeah,
hangover.
you're choosing
You already
poison.
know what's about to happen. Stop.
choosing-
Yeah,
poison.
you're gonna have a guy kind of like jog to try to get the ball.
I don't
it
know,
ain't-
like Hector, he worked his Ache, I should say. He worked his ass off in Houston. You know, he really drug him kicking and screaming. But like,
I mean, look who it was his midfield partner. You had Carragher. You know,
Yeah.
so guess
mean-
who did all the legwork?
Speaking of legwork, so in the playoffs, it's a different animal. And we were talking about with Berhalter coming in here. The expectation is playoffs, but what if they just get bounced in round one, like what we're seeing here? Because hey, it's the first time the Fire as a unit has been to the playoffs. They're not used to this level. They might get bounced in that first round. Would you guys be shocked by that?
I would be okay if they got bounced in the first round. Now, if they get bounced out of that 8-9 game, nah. That's why I don't consider 2012 playoffs. No, I don't consider.
That's
I don't
heartbreaking,
consider the
man.
fact that-
That's
I don't feel like we made the playoffs in 2012. I don't consider it, and I wouldn't consider that. That would be bullshit.
if the Fire made it to the next round in the playoffs, past the first round, whatever.
Well, wait, past the
It's
playing
gonna-
game or the first round?
The first round, past the first round, and they got
Oh.
eliminated. If that was the case, Toke's gonna feel like he felt last night, all over again. That's what's gonna bring out.
No, I'll be jacked. That'll be a perfect my expectations are playoffs. Like literally, I'll put it this way. This is how hard my expectations are playoffs. 9th place is okay, but like if we miss the playoffs, I'm ready to bounce Berhalter.
Jesus, no way.
What about this? Second round, Fire, game 3, penalties. Tell me you're not gonna be heartbroken. Tell me you're not gonna be.
Heartbroken is different than like disappointed.
And fire the coach.
Yeah, because like missing the playoffs next season.
Oh,
with
that's fine. But I mean, I honestly probably wouldn't be heartbroken. I'd probably be like, great, this is a great way to build on for next season. That's how I'll look at it. Now, if this is like our 3rd year of going to playoffs consecutively,
yeah, then it's a
Then-
problem. Exactly.
yeah.
No, next year I'm okay if we lose like Colorado next year in the first round. It just
oh yeah, of
cannot
course,
be the
yeah,
8-9
yeah.
game. We cannot lose in the 8-9 game.
Yeah.
Speaking of losing, would you guys be opening to bringing back Nacho Aliseda, who's having a good run of form over with Lugano?
No.
No.
We tried that ship. Obviously, I mean, maybe Greg Berhalter can unlock something, but we tried that ship. It didn't sail right. Apparently, again, new environment, different type of player.
Less
Good for
nachos.
him.
Less.
No,
yeah.
I listen, with the understanding that he's 2nd or 3rd in the pecking order on the wing, right? Like he may not be the first guy off the bench. he may just get spot starts. I'm all for it. But like he's not a starting winger on this team. Like we're talking about we want Mo Salah. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what's crazy now?
Weston
They're really
McKinnie.
thinking about it. No, but they're not really thinking about this though. It's funny how our broken pieces that we ship off to Lugano, like are scoring goal and they're performing. It's kind of, you know what? It might be the coach.
Kind of makes you wonder.
It might be the coach, but also it proves that MLS is ranked 9th and the Swiss League is ranked below them.
Oh, but there you go. Point proven.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. No, you're right. Now thinking about it, yeah, you're right.
Confirmed, Swiss League nowhere near as good as MLS.
No, if Lugano was facing off the Champions League, they're playing Celtic, and they won 2-1, and that's the whole different story.
Well, it's like Shabilko's scoring goals over there. Aliseda has been good literally since the minute he went there, though. By the way, so he's put together 2 or 3 good campaigns now. So like, I'm not against bringing him back at this stage in his career, but not as a starter. He's not like, oh, I expect him to start on the wing. I want him to fight for that spot. On the
do you think that these FC Lugano fans are probably like excited to see who we're gonna ship back out to Lugano? Like, oh my god!
Not at first, but after the second season of like good results, I think they probably are. They're probably
gonna be like, oh my god, who are they gonna let send out?
70 people in Lugano are getting ready to go to the airport to welcome Gaston Jimenez.
Oh, yeah. They're gonna get excited for Gaston Jimenez.
And then he wins MVP of the Swiss League 3 years in a row.
Oh my god, MVP of the team.
They
assist leader.
They get in the knockout round of Champions League.
Oh my god, man.
Oh my god, Gaston is working, Modric in the middle against Real Madrid.
Oh jeez. Well, so the Lugano owner is probably pretty pleased. And speaking of the Lugano owner, just to end the final little segment here on Enemies
Uncle
of the
Joe's,
Fire,
please.
Make sure you guys kick that like button and comment below. We'd love to read your comments. Chicago Fire owner chats and sits down with Kylan Mills, and this was just a little. I'll just show a little excerpt here and let you guys react to it. Just be a short little excerpt, just talking about the qualities of the coaching and of what he was looking for.
Head back to Europe. Hold on. So as soon as that happened,
I was about to say, look at him. He can't even hide the fact that he's stupid rich.
He's weird.
It just
he's weird
oozes
looking.
from his skin. Like,
yeah, his eyes.
He's
you know what, guys, this is the owner of a club team that we all love here, okay?
And we would shake his hand and love to meet him.
Yeah, I would love to shake his hand. No, okay? That's like making fun of like.
And he's maybe even watched our show before. Because listen to what he says here, guys. This is pretty interesting.
Director of football. Before we get into why he was the right fit, I want to hear more about the process. How did you approach the search for the club's next head coach?
Well, our current sporting director, Georg Heitz, came to me in August and said he wanted to head back to Europe. So as soon as that happened, we kicked off a search. And we had a tremendous amount of interest in the role. It's a very desirable role. We heard from people all over the world. And we had a pool of about a little over 80 candidates. Some that we sourced, and many that came inbound from people across the league, people globally, all super well qualified. And then what we did is we narrowed that to a short list of 3 candidates that were extremely well qualified. And we invited those 3 candidates for interviews. And one of those candidates was the person who succeeded in the interview process, Greg Berhalter. And I had known Greg for a long time.
He'll get into that.
And so as soon as the role opened up, I immediately texted Greg and said, hey, I know you're available. We'd love to have you come interview. And he responded right away. We got him into the pool.
Isn't that awesome to hear? Our owner texted Berhalter, was like, dude, come on in for an interview.
No, you know what it was? He took the 80 candidates, text Greg Berhalter, hey, you interested in this job? Okay, boom. That's it. That's all he had to do.
I'm sorry. I'm having such trouble paying attention to him because every time I look at him, I can just think this man has read at least 7 books on eye contact and what it means in your professional interactions.
And how to
what are you talking about? He probably did not read. He probably had somebody train him. When you got money like that.
All right.
Got him into the pool, and then he made it to that short list, and that's how it began.
So you said that you went from 80 candidates down to 3, which sounds like quite the process, a big job. How did you go about filtering through so many qualified people who wanted this job?
It was not easy, Kylan. There were 80 very well-qualified candidates. And so we wanted really someone who had a demonstrated record of success as a manager, somebody who knew MLS, but at the same time was plugged into the global soccer world, because that's a big part of recruiting talent. Somebody who was a good leader, who had good leadership skills, could motivate and excite an organization. And then somebody who had heart for Chicago in some way, that this just wasn't another job that they were taking or doing it for the money or vacation, but had heart for Chicago, saw the potential in what we're doing, and really wanted us as much as we wanted them. And so we went through the list. We narrowed it to 3. It was hard.
You think Bruce Arena was on that list?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And we invited 3
it was
candidates back.
Bruce
He might have
Arena.
even been one of the 3.
Yeah,
it was
it's probably
hard.
Bruce Arena, Triple G, and
Frank Lopez.
Jason Christ.
And Jason,
There you go.
No, here's the best part. He talked about leadership. He's like, we need someone with leadership. By the way, I was at this leadership conference that Greg was speaking at.
Oh man.
And we invited 3 candidates back, as I mentioned. But another factor was just the time pressure. We wanted to get somebody in early because preseason starts next January, mid-January. So it's not a long time. We have to make a lot of roster decisions, and we've got to recruit talent. All of that takes time. So the sooner somebody can get in here, the better they're going to do next year.
When it comes to those 3 individuals you chose to interview, I assume this wasn't just one conversation. Like, how ongoing was this to really get to know those individuals?
So I thought that was a great little clip, though. And go check out that video on Chicago Fire FC YouTube. Chicago Fire FC, Joe Mansueto sits down with Kyla Mills this very recent, 5 days ago. Today's November 6th.
I think she gets a bad rap because she has to sit down and interview him for his fake interview. Remember hey, everybody's mad about George Heights. Tell them it's okay. But
he just said he wanted to leave in mid-season. Right. How you feel as an owner? Oh, jeez.
You know what? And he didn't say, oh yeah, I fired Joe. We decided to go separate directions. He said, no, George just told me he wanted to go back, and then I'm like, yeah. It almost sounds like this man was planning on keeping Heights for a while.
Let's hope that's not the case. But
yeah.
You know what? Of all the owners we could have, I do. It's this guy gives me some faith that
keep in mind. Look, and especially for you, because I know how you are, Toke, especially when it comes with money. This man literally said that he's gonna privately, which AKA his own money, finance a stadium for the Chicago Fire.
You listen, if he does that, he would have to murder a lot of babies for me to be mad at him after that. But he can say anything he wants right now. In the 5 to 10 years before this thing can get built, he can say whatever the fuck he wants and gets all the praise. But then what happens when push comes to shove and he actually gets a couple aldermen to write him a check and gets cozy with JB. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't leave the mechanics alone out of this, okay? You don't bring that up. You don't bring up the mechanics and all this, all right? All I'm saying is the man is gonna privately finance the stadium, and that's it. It's not like another team that's gonna say, "Hey, we'll bring $2 billion. How about you cough up the next half?" Put it like that.
Oh my goodness gracious!
You can't get mad at that. You cannot get mad at the man trying to buy his own stadium.
Absolutely not.
I'm not mad, but he definitely gets no what's the word I'm searching for? He gets no love from me about it until I see that he's actually doing it, because he can say
you actually want to touch it. You actually want to touch the stadium. You want to go. You want to go touch it.
I just want to see the plans and specs and know he's paying for it. Let's put it that way. I don't care about having the stadium built first, but like I said, he can say anything he wants right now and get all the karma point, all the goodwill he wants.
Man, just for that, he's gonna watch this video. He's gonna hear you say that, and he's gonna go build it. It's gonna make you grow.
Please build it.
I think we got an excellent owner, and you hear the passion in his voice. You hear him caring. To hear him talk like this, it feels like he's entered another. He's learning more and more and more about his ownership of MLS and what he needs to do to get this team to succeed. And I'm
I
hearing
totally
that
agree
in what
with
he's
you on
talking
that,
about.
yeah.
So that's
this isn't like,
it's encouraging.
you know, you think of somebody like Kraft, and it's kind of like, well, I hope to invest in this other thing, and it's on the side and whatever. And
Yeah,
he's
because
not
he
like
has
that.
another thing to worry
And then-
about.
And then he's not the guy. He's not a guy who needs this to make money, right?
I don't think this
isn't
guy
a
needs this to make
money-making
money.
venture. So he's here to actually make it better.
Hmm.
Like, there is no other goal.
Sounds
He's
like
just
a certain
failed
guy I know.
yeah, exactly. Like,
I mean-
he is actually here to make it better, and he cares that it gets better. He has made a lot of mistakes so far, and most of them have been putting his trust into Garrick Heights. But beyond that, like, I am jacked that he's here. Because you know what? If it takes 30
Not cool,
years,
James.
it'll take 30 years. He'll get it right. Yeah, James is working on his golf game.
Yeah, James is working on his
Yeah,
golf
it's
game.
code-
I mean,
it's coded.
we're talking about a club that we love that's not going to affect our healthcare. But besides the point, yes, compared to Andrew Hoffman, you know,
This guy's
and yes,
engaged.
you know, this man, you know, he spends money. Like, it's just the sad part is that
Just
it's
been
been
bad.
misspent.
He
It's
knows
just been
when
bad.
the
It's-
Fire are
it's-
losing. He's paying attention and he feels the pain. And it's not just a financial pain. He actually wants success for this club. For
He
this
wants
project.
success. He wants to keep us happy because, you know, he changed our logo. So after that horrible crown, so
They brought back
you know,
the red jersey.
he got us free parking at Soldier Field.
Yep.
Like, you know, he's doing a lot of things right. The only problem is that the product on the field hasn't been great. But
Right.
honestly, he made that decision this year. I mean, George Heights.
He
George
made a big
Heights
step.
did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Heights did it on his own. But, you know, now we got a new head coach, Greg Berhalter.
New technical director, Greg Berhalter.
New technical director. So, you know, it's hard not to feel positive. It's hard not to
You're
feel,
right.
you know, like we're going in the right direction. And
This
do not
weird
bring up the
feeling of
golf
hope.
game. Yeah, this weird feeling of hope. You know, so, and again, do not bring up the golf game. But anyways, yeah, so, I mean, I'm all for it. Like, honestly, I mean, if you think about it, how many Chicago owners act like this guy? Sports
None.
owners, shoot.
This
Chicago
guy-
sports owner.
Ricketts,
This guy
maybe Ricketts
legitimately
was
cares.
Ricketts was a little
Ricketts?
focused at first, and also
Yeah.
Wirtz, the Blackhawks owners.
Blackhawks, I know very little about, but you're right with the
Yeah.
Cubs. It's like they
The son
came
of
in, they were
Rocky.
like, we're going to be the ones who win a World Series. Then they did, and they were like, dope. I'm not spending another dime.
Or son of, it's Dollar Bill Wirtz. It's Rocky Wirtz now, I think. Yeah, but
Right.
The kid, the one, the
Benny Beverage people.
forward
Hey, yo,
thinking guy.
Rocky. Yeah.
The forward thinking one, not the other one that took all the Blackhawk games off the TV.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Dollar Bill
God.
Wirtz.
Yeah.
That's what they called him. And speaking of the dollar bills, guys, thanks for hanging around here on Enemies of Fire. What a show. Kick that like button, punt it, comment about whatever you want. We love to hear about your favorite parts and whatever stuff riled your gears. Nice hat there, Toke. I love it. All right, guys. We will catch you on the next one. Have a great one. We'll see you guys later.
Peace. James, what, if they were so inclined, should they do with the like button?
This time, probably pick it up in your hands. Don't worry. Play stop. We talked to the ref. Ref blew his whistle. He's waiting on you. Inspect the ball. Dust it off. Get that blade of grass right. Set the ball down. Go into your zen zone. Look the goalkeeper dead in the eyes, like you fucked his mother. Back the ball. Back up. Back up. And even though it's your son you're shooting on, bury that ball into the upper 90. And make sure you hit that like button along the way and be right back here on Enemies of the Fire.